Hi everyone, how's it going? This is Harveer Singh and I run the We Love Jersey City page on Instagram. Today I got Ravi Bhalla, who's running for the 8th Congressional District. He's going to be running for the House. And, I wanted to get him on here because I know a lot of you guys are interested in becoming more politically involved. And I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to learn about Ravi. So, Ravi, tell me a little bit about yourself and why are you running?
Sure. Thanks for having me on this platform. A little bit about myself. I was born and raised in Jersey. At the end of the day, I'm a Jersey guy. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a sibling. I'm a son. And it's all to relatives. We all live in New Jersey, so we're a very New Jersey home family. A little bit about myself. I love comedy. I love watching movies, especially like thrillers. I love sports. I'm a beat junkie. I love music. I love travel. I love history. So I'm just kind of like a lot of other people in that way. But I also love
Renaissance man.
I also love our community.
Yeah.
I spent most of my adult life in Hoboken, and I've seen it grow, and I feel like proud to be a small part of that kind of growth curve. And I see a lot of potential for Jersey City, which has already grown so much in the last 10, 15 years, and the rest of the district. So we're part of a movement, and we want to kind of keep trending in the right direction. So that's kind of a little bit about me, who I am, and really why I'm running is because I've seen through my experience how individuals can make a change and never underestimate the change that you can make. And I want to make sure that we continue that movement for change, not just in Hoboken or not just in Jersey City, but in other underserved communities like Elizabeth, Union City, Bayonne, anywhere where people are marginalized, don't have a seat at the table because of their gender, ethnic status, gender orientation. We need to uplift people in America, not put them on the sidelines. That's what this is about. That's why I'm running.
Nah, that's amazing, man. And I got my Jersey City versus everybody shirt on, and we're gonna have to maybe change it to Hudson County versus everybody for you if you win.
I've got a Hoboken versus everyone. So I don't know if you stole ours or we stole yours. But
Well, either way, we're gonna add both on there if you win, and then you can take that to Washington with you. But
done.
so all right, great. So that's awesome. Thank you for telling us a little bit about you. So there are a number of people running for this position right now. I think there's I think about four. And why should why should be people picking you? Why should people pick you over the other candidates?
Yeah, so there are four candidates. So there are four options. There's a Republican option, and then there are three individuals, including myself, running on the Democratic side. Why should people pick me? Because when you look at the track record of the candidates on the Democratic side for the Democratic primary on June 4th, coming up very soon, you'll see that I have a track record of earned accomplishments gained through over a decade of experience serving at the most hyper local levels of government. That's as a Democratic committeeman, solving not foreign policy or reproductive rights, but just taking care of residents in my neighborhood, understanding, speaking to my neighbors about what they care about. It might be something very uninteresting to us, like a noise complaint or a dangerous intersection or something of that nature. But through that experience that I've had over 15 years, I've really come to get a handle on both the problems and the challenges of local government and have been able to be a part of making our community better, more livable, safer streets, resisting climate change. And I think that distinguishes me from my opponents who don't have that track record of experience, have not been in the weeds and the trenches of local government, who might not have as much of an appreciation for how to navigate those local issues. I've been doing it almost my entire adult life. So I think this primes me to be a member of Congress to create that connectivity between people in Washington and people on the ground, because ultimately we have to represent regular, average working families in the district.
No, that's phenomenal. And honestly, I respect that about the local politicians that keep it about the local environment, right?
Yeah, it's all
They're
here. All
yeah,
here.
exactly. And a lot of local politicians start running as if they're running for president. And I'm like, look, clean up the streets, man, fix those potholes. Like that's what we need, right?
Yeah.
Over here. And so I really respect that as something that you focused on. And yes, you've been doing this for quite some time. I've been following your career. And so no, that's great. So I'm gonna jump right in. So do you have anything specific to say about those running against you? I know the incumbent has been, campaigning directly against you and kind of ignoring the rest of the people. So is there something you want to say about your political opponent and the incumbent by any chance?
Yeah, so when we've been knocking on the doors, we've got a lot of people who say we're undecided. Mayor Bala, how are you different from your opponent? What is the difference? Because we need to know the difference to make a decision on who to vote for. Here are some very specific differences. Medicare for all. I support Medicare for all. My opponent does not. The New Jersey Turnpike extension, which would be a disaster, this boondoggle, creating more traffic going into the Lincoln Tunnel, creating more environmental impacts on environmental justice communities, minorities, black and brown communities, getting more cars on the streets. I oppose that project. My opponent supports it. My money from the campaign in terms of contributions comes from individuals just like you. I don't take any money from corporate PACs. I don't take any money from lobbyists. My opponent's campaign is funded by corporate PACs and lobbyists, big pharma, medical billing. Those are the types of special interests that he represents. Also, as we just discussed, experience. I have a track record of experience. My opponent, his first time running for elected office was for U.S. Congress, and he would not even been considered if he was not handpicked by his father. Blatant nepotism. That's a big difference. Another very important thing to think about is that we have a Senate election coming up. My opponent's father has indicated that he might run as an independent in the Senate election. That's going to put Congressman Kim his candidacy in jeopardy at a time when this U.S. Senate is at balance, can tip the scales. And if we don't have a Senate majority, a Democratic Senate majority, then things like reproductive rights, climate action, all of those are going to be impacted. So we have an opponent who's putting his family above his constituents. That's a big difference. That's a difference that people should know when they go to the ballot box.
Yeah, that's so important. And right now, it's these topics that you're discussing are more important than they've ever been. And I understand where you're coming from there. That's a great response. Thanks. So So a lot of the people on We Love Jersey City may be new to politics, and could you quickly outline, some of the other key? You mentioned some of them, but maybe some of the more general stuff. What can you quickly outline the key policies and like the legislative priorities that you'd be, your goals?
We need to take roads and say that roads and streets are not for cars, they're for people. We need to reimagine roads for people, not cars. Paris has done that. European countries have done that. We need to invest in mass transit, not widening turnpike extensions. That is a huge legislative priority for me. Affordability. We live in a district of working families where people can't pay a living wage. The federal living minimum wage is $7.25. That's not enough for two working parents to pay for college. Kids get saddled with student loans, student loan debt. So affordability is a major legislative priority. Housing and affordable housing is something that we fought tooth and nail, fighting against corporate landlords who are jacking up rents to unconscionable increases all over the district. My administration has been sued by multiple corporate landlords because we've said that rent control is something that is a right for certain properties. And when you increase the rent 15-20%, that's unconscionable, and we're going to take you to court. So we've been an advocate in those issues. We want to make sure that in Washington, we see how we can make an impact on these issues, working with local officials, working with residents to make change for the district.
No, that's so important, especially, I'm in real estate, and it is kind of crazy how expensive things have become in Hudson County and Jersey City, Hoboken. It's almost like where people are, it's not even almost, people are getting pushed out of this area, and it's quite sad actually to see that people who have been living here their whole lives, they can no longer afford living where they grew up, where they were born, and they've lived their whole lives. So, I think that's an important thing to fight for, affordability.
Yeah.
And all right, great. So I wanted to ask you about this because now you're going to be taking on a more national role, and you'll be coming up against more national type of issues. And one of the hot topic issues right now is the Israel and Palestine conflict. So where do you stand on that conflict?
Yeah, so where I stand is, we have a diverse district in the 8th Congressional District. We have people who are Jewish, have Jewish ancestry. We have people who have Palestinian and Muslim ancestry. Ultimately, I'm a Sikh American. Part of our faith tradition is that we seek to do whatever we can to see an end to human suffering. So what I would like to do is, have a policy and a geopolitical solution that really ends that suffering. One distinction that I didn't mention between myself and my opponent is that I support a ceasefire. My opponent seems to be allergic to that term, ceasefire. We need to stop the carnage that's killing innocent women, men, and children in the Gaza Strip. That has to end now. And we also need to make sure that hostages are returned. So we need a negotiated ceasefire that brings both parties to the negotiating table and hopefully seeks a two-state solution, a solution that preserves Israel's right to exist, but very importantly, also stands up the people of Palestine and gives them equal rights, and not just equal rights, but equal rights in terms of statehood. There should be an independent Palestinian state, full stop, that is at equal standing to Israel to the west, to Jordan to the east, to Egypt to the south, and to Lebanon to the north. Until we get to that geopolitical solution, my concern is that we're going to continue to see this human suffering, which pains my soul, and which we need to get past. I think all human beings, no matter what your views of this issue, are uncomfortable and against unfairness and inequality. We just need to collectively come together as a community, whether we're Jewish or Muslim, and talk to each other, communicate with each other about these issues, because we have a lot more in common as human beings than we do in differences. We all want the same things. We want a future for our families. We want education. We want healthcare. We want our children to have a bright future, and that applies to both Jews and Palestinians. And that's what this conference is about: is realizing that vision of having a bright future for all people in that region.
Yeah, no, thank you for that. That's a great answer. Okay, so the election is coming up, and of course, this is not an election that aligns with the presidential election. So usually there are a lot less people that show up, and so what can how can people vote for you When is the election? Where can they vote? How can they vote? Maybe let's get some information out on that.
Yeah, so you just made a great point. It's not a presidential election, so not that many people votes. That means that your vote is all the more powerful, and that's a reason why it's very important that you vote on June 4th. That's coming up not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday, June 4th. So there are three ways to vote. One is to actually vote on the day of the election, which is June 4th. It's a Tuesday. The polls open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. I would highly suggest that you make a voting plan for that day as to whether you're going to vote in the morning, the afternoon, or the evening. I suggest voting in the morning to kind of get that out of the way in case you're running late for work. In the event that you cannot vote on June 4th, election day, you have two other options. You can either vote by mail, and you would have to submit an application and get a vote by mail ballot back and vote by mail, or they have something called early voting. Early voting is that in your municipality, in your city, you can actually vote before June 4th by going to a designated place, typically City Hall, and other designated locations where they actually have voting booths. And that is taking place this coming Monday. Actually, I think Tuesday because of the weekend, until the following Monday. So you have that 1 week, basically next week. If you're going to be out of town on work, can't be there on Tuesday, you can still vote. You can early vote, and then the last thing is just make your voice heard. This election is going to come down to a few hundred votes either way, so that's where you can make your voice heard, and we can have real representative democracy here in the eighth district.
And that's that's what I always say is that, those presidential elections are super important, but what people don't realize is that these local elections actually have a bigger impact on the way that you live your life on a day-to-day basis. So I've been pushing that for years now, is that get involved in local politics, get involved and make sure that you vote, because yes, it's not going to be tens of thousands of people voting. This is going to be where it could
Yeah,
be that your one vote could make that difference, and it
absolutely.
could change that race and the result of that race. So if you feel strongly about one opponent or the other, make sure that you get out there and vote. Ravi, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. And is there anything you'd like to leave off with before we head out?
No, just want to say you're the man. I love you. Just keep up the great work you're doing. You're bringing some flavor to Jersey City. It's already got a lot of flavor and a lot of love. It's a vibrant, bustling city. Me and Mayor Phillip have a friendly competition on various policy issues, but we've got great communities in Hoboken. We've got a great community in Jersey City. It's a great district. My only closing remarks is I'm grateful for to you for providing this platform on a frequent basis to just get issues out to Jersey City residents and Hoboken residents and other residents about things that people care about. So thank you.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much, and good luck in the election.
Okay, thanks. Have a great day.